Hi there, this is Janet Gershen-Siegel. This is Module 5 of the Quinnipiac University social media class, and today I'm going to talk to you about viral videos. So let's get right down to it. Now I'm going to talk to you about two of them. There is God Yet featuring Kimbra's song, Somebody That I Used to Know, and in contrast the other one is, there's an image on the right, the Llama Llama Duck novelty song. Now first let's go to God Yet and Kimbra, and one thing I hope you notice is that the titles of each of the slides are all parodies of both of the songs. So now and then I watch a certain kind of YouTube. This song was clearly commercially created, and it has an extremely unique look and feel and sound to it, and I'll play just a moment of it. I don't think I have to play any more for you, because if you know this song, you only have to hear a few bars of it. You only have to see a few frames of the video. It is so obvious what song this is. On page 5 of Does BuzzFeed Know the Secret, it says, and I quote, "People like upbeat, even childlike content. That's why BuzzFeed practices its own version of the Huffington Post's mullet strategy, though now the party is all up front," end quote. And the mullet strategy is essentially business up front, party in the back. And what that means is that Huffington Post was putting its more serious journalism up in its front pages, and then the fun stuff, the virality, the kitten videos and whatnot, they were in the back. But the God Yet video would seem to be an exception, because it's an anguished song about a breakup. And one of the things about the look of it is that God Yet himself is getting painted into essentially blending in with the background, and Kimbra is losing her paint, so she starts to stand out. And this is probably a metaphoric, it's probably symbolic about the differences that happen between people when they break up. However, it had me believing it was always something I could do. On page 5 of If It Doesn't Spread, it says, and I quote, "Rather than emphasize the direct replication of memes, a spreadable model assumes that the repurposing and transformation of media content adds value, allowing media content to be localized to diverse contexts of use," end quote. So spreadable media is essentially, it's easy to pass along and to transform content. And what that means in practice is that people who might not even have thought of writing a parody might write one, because they can make it look good and make it sound good, and they can share it with tons and tons of people. And to return to the point about the song being an exception, the truth is maybe it's not. Because according to the article called "As Your Social Media Emotions Go Viral, Anger Spreads the Fastest," they say that anger is the most viral emotion on the internet, and if there's one thing that the God Yet and Kimbra song does, is it expresses anger. But I don't want to write that way. I want to write parodies. The first parody that I ever saw of this song was the Star Wars parody, the Star Wars That I Used to Know. Now this parody has incredible geek cred. Not only does it wonderfully mimic the style of the song, including the instruments, the tempo, it also mimics the accompanying video, and it beautifully taps right into fanboy rage about the newer Star Wars films. However, I also found a parody by a troupe called The Key of Awesome, and their parody catches more the spirit of the song but not its signature video. And what their parody does is it's done on the cheap, and instead it plays into rock band geekiness. And what they're talking about, what they're singing about rather, is about vans. They're singing about drug addiction, and they also sing about the female singer announcing her pregnancy by someone or another within the band. One thing I hope you'll also notice is that everybody in the troupe is playing the guitar. So if we go from right to left, the guy all the way on the right, he's tapping and banging on the guitar like a beatbox. The sole female singer, she's strumming a bit. She's actually doing more singing. The guy in the middle is strumming, and in the song it's claimed that this is his guitar. The guy next to him, moving to the right, he's standing. He's just holding on to the frets so as to change the chords, and then the guy all the way on the right, he's just plucking a bit on the neck of the guitar. He's making what they call in the song the plinky sound. However, then things get political. This is, of course, called The Obama That I Used to Know. Now, regardless of anybody's politics, the video is pretty funny. And just like the Star Wars parody, it taps beautifully into the unique sound and look of the music and the video. As an additional bonus, it taps right into geekdom with the Shepherd Fairy iconic Hope poster. And you know that when, and it's got to be that when it was first decided to make this video, they must have thought, aha, let's paint the Shepherd Fairy poster, because it's perfect. And now it's just some music that I used to know. Let's talk a little bit about these videos. Now, there are any number of other parodies, but these are extremely popular. So starting with the original video, this one has nearly 480 million views. This is more than the population of the United States. And one thing I want to keep in mind is that these are just the single URLs for each of these videos, and of course there are shares and whatnot and copies. So those are jacking up the numbers even more. So I'm just looking at YouTube and I'm just looking at these particular URLs. The first one's got 480 million views. Then when we go to the Star Wars parody, it's got 14.5 million views. The Key of Awesome parody has 18.5 million views. That surprised me because that one does not tap into the look of the video and seems to be done a bit more on the cheap. But the truth is that the Key of Awesome group, they seem to be more committed towards urging people to share their videos. And finally, the Obama parody, the numbers drop down considerably and they only have about 2.5 million views on their video. Here's a YouTube. Now this is the next song. This one is an organic or most likely accidental viral video event, and this one is the novelty song Llama Llama Duck, and I'm only going to torture you with a small amount of this song. Alright. The song doesn't seem to have been created for commercial purposes. It just seems to be a bit of online silliness. But man, does this song have an earworm. Now what's an earworm? It's a catchy song or tune that runs continually through a person's mind. And this song is, it's repetitious, it's sped up, it's high-pitched, the words are nonsensical, they're very simple. It's really easy to get this one in your head and never let it out. There's a YouTube. The song, and I'll use that term loosely, as it were, was first posted by user Bert and Ernie on DeviantArt in 2004. So this is at almost a decade old. This is the oldest reference that I could find to this song, and I realize it's impossible to see the stats here, so I'm going to explain. The DeviantArt page has 73 pages of comments from members, and those date back to August 31st of 2004. The video itself was put on DeviantArt in July of 2004, so people started commenting only about a month and a half or so later. But they were clearly already watching and downloading and sharing. Over 1,800 people have favorited this song in the last almost 10 years. There are nearly 90,000 views on DeviantArt, and that's amazing because DeviantArt is a pretty small site. It's a rather specialized site. In contrast, on YouTube, there are nearly 15 million views. That's a heck of an outing for a so-called song that seems to have been created on a lark. However, at another little YouTube, this song has also been used quite a bit like Rickrolling. I'll explain. Because Llama Llama Duck is a rather annoying earworm, people have often sought to annoy their friends, their dubious friends, with the llama song. And this includes a 10-hour version of it. So it's done somewhat similar to Rickrolling. Now let me play you a little Rickrolling. That's enough of that. Rickrolling is an internet meme. It involves the music video for the 1987 Rick Astley song, Never Gonna Give You Up. It's essentially a bait and switch type of meme. The person provides a hyperlink which seems to be relevant to the topic at hand, but actually it leads to Astley's video. And people have done this with the Llama Llama Duck song, in particular with the 10-hour-long version of it. Fuzzy YouTube. There are also short and, well, relatively sweet versions of the song, including one that's fortunately only about 41 seconds in length. Furthermore, As a visual, there are some rather nice images that have been inspired by the video, and that probably has something to do with the fact that it was originally placed on a DeviantArt page. And that includes this image by a DeviantArt member named Annie Mori. However, the original video is intentionally amateurish. The images are fuzzy, and they're probably just lifted right off somebody's Instamatic, it seems. And then, of course, things get political. As you might imagine, this parody is called Obama Llama Duck. Just like in the original, the images are fuzzy, the captions are all sans serif and in lowercase, and the images are also surrounded by relatively monochromatic rectangles, and this mimics the original look of the video. Now let's look at some stats. The YouTube and of course DeviantArt, which really isn't YouTube. The original video by Bert and Ernie, to reiterate, this has completely run away from this artist. His posting on DeviantArt is still at less than 100,000 views, although it may very well surpass it this year. I suspect it will. On YouTube, the first posting has almost 15 million views, and again, this has been shared and copied and repurposed over and over again. So that's just that one URL. The 10-hour version has 190,000 views. Pretty amazing that that has almost twice as many views as on DeviantArt, but that's probably a function, once again, of DeviantArt being not so big. The 41-second version has nearly 5 million views, and the Obama Llama Duck video has over 400,000 views. Duck! Here comes some references. If it doesn't spread, does BuzzFeed know the secret? And as your social media motions go viral, anger spreads the fastest. So once again, this is Janet Gershen-Siegel, and this is Module 5 of Quinnipiac's social media class, and I'd like to apologize right now for putting that song in your head. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got. Thanks. Bye.